So, folks, I am a big proponent of people being able to manage their mental health. I think it's really important. I think that mental health is something that has traditionally been pretty undervalued when it comes to people's well-being. And it's something that, I have struggled with my entire life. And as such, when I see someone publicly who is in a position of power struggling with their mental health, I am inclined to, you know, extend a lot of grace towards that individual. That being said, when that person is a Republican lawmaker who has voted to strip millions of people of their health care and ability to get the help that they need, and has voted in favor of the Make America Healthy Again agenda, which involves, of course, devaluing mental health needs for folks, my grace becomes a little bit less extended. Now, very specifically, there is a Republican member of Congress by the name of Tom Kean. Now, Tom Kean, he's over in the House. He's been missing for months, and no one has been able to say where he is. People didn't know what happened to him. There wasn't an explanation to his constituents. There wasn't an explanation to the press. There wasn't an explanation on any of this. He was just gone, with his staffers being like, "Trust us, he's still alive, we think," and that seems bad, right? Like, there needs to be some accountability. And earlier today, he turned up in Congress for the first time in months. And here's what he had to say about that.
I rise today with deep gratitude for the patience, the kindness, the prayers, and the concern that have been shown to me and my family over the course of the last several months. This is not an easy speech for me to give. I am a private person by nature, and I have spent most of my life talking about the people that I represent, the issues facing our communities, and the work that continues to be done. Talking about myself has never come naturally, but I believe that I owe an explanation to the people of New Jersey's 7th District, to my colleagues in this chamber, and to the American people for my absence. Several months ago, due to health concerns, I entered the hospital for some testing. I did not believe that this would result in a long-term stay. I was given the diagnosis of depression. Now, when people hear the word depression, many people think simply it means feeling sad. But depression is so much more than that. It is physical. It is emotional. And until you experience it yourself, it is difficult to fully understand how powerful this illness can be. The doctors recommended that I remain in the hospital to address my illness. They explained to me that this would be the fastest way to recovery. And to be honest, I was hesitant. I didn't think that I had time for it. I had responsibilities to my family. I had responsibilities to my constituents. I had responsibilities to this institution. And like many people, I believed that I could simply push through. But I agreed to follow my doctor's recommendations. Again, not believing that it would result in a long-term stay. I rise today.
This guy has been in politics for 2 decades. He voted against the New Jersey Earned Sick Leave Act, which guaranteed 5 paid sick leave days per year for every worker in New Jersey. He voted against New Jersey's No Surprise Medical Bills Act, and also 2 paid family leave laws over the years. He is someone who has explicitly made it harder for millions of people in his home state to take time off of work to see to their own medical needs, both mental and physical. And he is someone who voted for the one big beautiful bill that kicked millions of people off of Medicaid. And I want to remind folks that added more work requirements to Medicaid. he has made it very difficult for people to take time off of work in order to get the healthcare that they need, including the people who are on Medicaid, who are too destitute to be able to afford healthcare for themselves. And he's continuously thrown up barriers while he benefits from the best healthcare that this nation can provide off the taxpayer dime. And so when he says, well, I took some time off for depression, I want people to understand he hadn't been seen in Congress since April. Since April. It's now July. He was gone for like 2.5 months. And he comes up here, he's like, well, depression is a very serious issue. And I have long supported mental health. No, you haven't. You fucking liar. Do you know how many people in America have depression? Do you have any idea how, like, I have depression. I can't take months off of work. It is infuriating that this man benefits so greatly from our system and has the ability to take so much time off of working for his constituents.
Just got the letter about my Medicaid for next year. Apparently they exempt you from the work requirements if you earn over a certain amount/month.
Yeah, but if you're poor, you're kind of shit out of luck. It's truly, it's disgusting. It is disgusting. But Republicans are nothing if not hypocritical. The Make America Healthy Again Act is, Make America Healthy Again initiative. It is one born out of hypocrisy. It's healthcare for me, but not for thee. In a similar vein, the Make America Healthy Again movement is a situation where ultimately the people who are majorly into MAHA, what they are actually doing is taking the costs that are currently collectively borne by society and putting them instead onto individuals so that the wealthiest people in the world don't have to subsidize everybody else. That's how it works, right? On that note, I do want to introduce you guys to this article courtesy of the Sick Times. Wastewater testing is going to go bankrupt. Public health organizations are calling for Congress to fund the CDC's wastewater surveillance program, which tracks COVID-19 and other diseases, in its 2027 budget, while state health departments plan ahead for potential gaps in grants, which, just as an FYI, we don't have yet. So what is wastewater testing? Why is it so important? Well, in a world of, transmissible diseases, it turns out that the CDC, part of their job was to go and monitor the wastewater from different parts of the country in order to test, where are diseases, being transmitted. Because by testing the wastewater, they can often find traces of the diseases that are circulating in different communities, right? This was used notably for COVID-19, but it is used for a wide variety of other diseases as well, and other illnesses, primarily illnesses that are transmitted via water or through water droplets that then go through the sewage system. And instead, we kind of have like a lot of gaps in the current system. Wastewater surveillance in the US for COVID-19 and other infectious diseases may be curtailed starting this fall unless the CDC receives more funding for its program. And this year it runs out of the funds that Congress allocated to it back in 2021. And without those funds, your wastewater can't be tested, and thus we can't know where, different waterborne illnesses are being transmitted. This has huge implications for a wide variety of different diseases and is, in fact, going to be something that makes a lot of people very, very sick. But unfortunately, this government doesn't really care all that much about the science. It doesn't really care all that much about keeping people safe. And the folks who are experts in this are... Here is a quote from Rachel Poretsky, a microbiologist at the University of Illinois, Chicago. wastewater surveillance is one of the best ways, regardless of what your political stance is, to spend tax dollars because it's cheap for what you get and super informative. Because it allows you, again, to see where variants of different diseases are going. It allows you to identify new strains of illnesses that might be proliferating in different communities. And it's also quite useful beyond just COVID. It also helps to track things like the flu, RSV, measles, and notably and importantly, avian flu. Now, many of you may have been not quite as worried about this as I am in the Midwest, but avian flu has been very much going around the different livestocks. And the big worry is if it makes a leap into humans and begins proliferating in human circles. And one of the ways you could be able to find that and test it is through wastewater testing. This is, by the way, one of the ways you can stop a pandemic before it starts, and why it's so important for initiatives like this to be funded. It's true, Philip Schwartz, people will only get more pissed as time goes by. Very true. But yeah, it is... It's bad stuff. And also worth noting, do y'all remember polio fucking came back in 2022 because people stopped getting their shots? Well, one of the reasons they were able to figure out where it was in the scale of the damage was because they used wastewater surveillance. They used the wastewater testing in order to identify this. So, I don't know, guys, like, at a certain point, I'm just throwing up my hands. It's ridiculous. We live in a country where instead of just making sure we understand where diseases are circulating, we're specifically just, like, turning a blind eye to it and hoping for the best. Which seems like, I don't know, kind of setting ourselves up for a horrific amount of pain and suffering. Anyway, make America healthy again, I guess. And with that being said, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about wastewater surveillance. And also, get organized, folks. Get organized, and let's save some science, huh? Join your local Dems, join your local DSA. If you need help, join our Discord. Reach out to Gamergy for help organizing in your DSA and making it more effective. Reach out to Dragonfly for help finding your local Dems and making sure you're maximizing your effectiveness, advocating for pro-working class policies among them. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender-euphoric lingerie designed for the ground up for trans femmes, also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy, non-tucking underwear. Check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the description. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.